Ned resets the ultimate class record, the overall drag week and all-time quarter mile average ET and mile an hour record. So bunch there.
Yeah,
so
big stuff.
The new ET and mile per hour records. Ned Dunphy, the 2013 Dodge Viper, 6.1754.
Pumped. All right, guys. Well, welcome to episode 124 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. As we jump into some of this Hot Rod Drag Week records, just want to remind you guys, this is 20 years. This is the event that kicked off everything. Without Drag Week going the amount of years it did, 10 years by itself, and there was nothing else for 10 years, we wouldn't be sitting right here. It's crazy. It's changed my life. I tell you this all the time. And really, it changed it in the way that this is nerdy, dumb, just, man, it's goofy that I track this stuff like I do, but it's really been a ton of fun. And there's actually more thinking about it now. I didn't even go in and do all-time record stuff. So going to look at all that over the next couple days as well. So 2025, I feel like probably proved to be the quickest year on record. 15 records were broken, different classes, mile an hour, ET, all that kind of stuff. What's wild to me is that some of them weren't reset by very much. It's actually like 1 mile an hour record that was set was only by like a few hundredths, but wow, it's still a record. So pretty cool to go through all that. So one thing I did want to give a pat on the back to, there are still 2 long-standing records, which is what we'll call it. So last year we saw a ton of these fall, but there are 2 records from 2015 that are still standing. B-Gas, Chisholm and Stasiak, 9:52:06 in B-Gas from 2015. Dude, that's 10 years ago. 10 years. And then Super Street, Big Block Power Adder, George Gallimore's 189 mile an hour average mile an hour from 2015 still stands. So wow, pretty, obviously I don't have photos from 2015 to go in there and do that. So that's hopefully something we can do as the years go on, is grab people's content from those early years that we didn't attend.
Right.
So obviously Ned Dunphy is probably the leading story from this because it's such a huge thing. So I'll let you run this record here.
Yep. Ned resets the ultimate class record, the overall drag week and all-time quarter mile average ET and mile an hour record. So bunch there.
Yeah,
so
big stuff.
The new ET and mile per hour records. Ned Dunphy, the 2013 Dodge Viper, 6.1754 at 247.088 miles per hour. So that is the new record. The old record was Jeff Lutz in the 69 Camaro Pro Mod with a 6.1918 at 240.018 miles an hour. So we got would we get there 7 mile an hour quicker?
Yeah, pretty big swing if you think about it. That's a big swing. 7 miles an hour average across the week. Now, single pass records, we didn't see that fall with mile an hour or ET, but the average records did. So you guys are going to hear kind of some of that as we go through there, as we go through these. These, what I focused on right now, are averages. So it's always kind of the thing that matters the most, because you got to finish the week first. Like Mike Gillem said, feels like you probably got to finish the week for your record to count. Next up, Super Street Small Block Power Adder. Y'all know that's my jam. I love this class. The craziest thing in history happened. 2 dudes, 2 years apart, tie for their average ET. 5 days of racing, Eric. 5 days of racing for both guys. No rainouts or anything. And they tie down to the 10,000ths of a second. How does that even freaking happen? We talked about this last week, but Rick Syke tied Dustin Trance's 2023 record of an 8.5048 average ET in the small street race small block power adder class.
Yeah, that is absolutely mind-blowing, to be honest.
Down to the 10,000ths, dude. Like, wild to me. Wild.
Yep. So next up is the Pro Street NA. So the new record was Scott Miller in the 1969 Ford Mustang, 7.9694 at 174.004 miles per hour.
Big swing.
That old record was Doc McIntyre in the Sea Red Camaro with an 8.033. So we went from an 8.033 down to a 7.9694. And the old mile per hour record was 167. And again, new mile an hour was 174.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's a big one.
So
and
another
what's
7 mile an hour swing.
And what's crazy is like that's not very much difference between those two, but it took, I think, and I'll have to put this in the article, but Doc McIntyre's record, I think, was from like 2019 or 2020 or something like that, or 2021, somewhere in there. I can't remember, but pretty wild that he held both, because you're going to see some stuff where different people hold different records. Pro Street Power Adder, these are kind of anyways. Pro Street Power Adder, new ET and mile an hour record, both set by Nick Reinhardt, 7:18:38 at 192.6 miles an hour. The old ET record was set by Glenn Hunter Jr. We know we love that car in 2021, 7.442. So dropped nearly 0.3 of a second on the average. Huge swing there. And the old mile an hour record was set by John Ferrone at 190.78. So new record 192.6, old record 190.7. So up several miles an hour there as well.
Yep. Racers and high performance enthusiasts, are you ready to start your next engine build? If so, there is no better time than right now. Go check out Molly Motorsports all-in-one Power Pack piston kits. With over 1,200 applications, these kits come complete with pistons, rings, wrist pins, and clips, all designed to work together. Molly Motorsports Power Pack piston kits take out all of the guesswork, so that means there is no more trying to determine if a piston will need this ring to work with a certain cylinder size. Molly Motorsports did all of that engineering for you, so you can get the part that matters, which is building you a power plant that leads to victory lane. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And for our podcast listeners, Molly is spelled M-A-H-L-E. And the all-motor small block new ET is Glen Sheileley this year with a 1962 Corvette, which is that gorgeous Corvette. 8.372 at 159.5 miles an hour. So in 2022, the old record was Jason Tabscott with an 8.696 at 155. So we went from 8.696 to an 8.372, and from 155 to 159.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Glen Sheiley's car just worked, man. It absolutely worked. And you can tell by the oh no.
You gotta send that
never
link.
send him the link. Okay, hang on. You take the next one here and I'll send Jesse the link.
All right. So next up is the all motor big block. The new ET record is Philip Tobin in a 93 Corvette, 8.511 at 157. The old ET record was Michael Remines.
I think so.
Michael Remines in an 89 Mustang in 2023, 8.681. But in 2022, Michael also had the mile per hour record at 157. So he said the record in mile per hour in 22, and then the ET record in 2023, both broken this year by Philip Tobin.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome when you start thinking about all the stuff. Jesse, it's on its way.
And that mile per hour wasn't broken by much. It went from 157.1 to 157.5. So just barely.
Yep. Which one was he? Street Race Big Block Power Adder. Next up for the record books, Randy Bellahar. Dude, this is a great story here. Love this guy. Big block on nitrous, one of the quickest nitrous cars that are out there. And also being street race means he's limited to 850. Dude goes out, runs a 854 with a 3 for his average for the week. The old ET record, James Carger, 79 Mustang in 2017. Dude, he knocked a 7-year-old record off there, 8-year-old record off with an 854.96. So we literally dropped 58 ten-thousandths of a second on the average. That's how tight this stuff is. That's what I was saying in the beginning. That's how tight this stuff gets.
Yeah. Street Race Small Block NA. The new record is Jeff Sayus at a 150.8 mile per hour. The old mile per hour record was David Hembry in 2024 at a 150.4. So again, 150.4 to a 150.8. Again, just barely squeaking in a new mile per hour record.
And then Gasser back up a little bit there. Gasser A gas class, new ET record set. Wayne Baker knocked his old record off. He went to an 880 with a 6 this year at 155.3 miles an hour. The old ET record held by Wayne Baker was 8.831. So we dropped 20 something hundred or 20 something thousandths. And then Mike Finnegan held the old mile an hour record at 155.23. So we only increased the mile an hour by 700ths. 700ths. So mile an hour record. So pretty crazy, man. All that stuff is so tight.
Yeah,
So
pretty wild to
that's some
see.
records. And then I think Ralph was the one that reminded me that Scott Glassbrook was the one that reset the all-time 4-cylinder record. So that's my plan now, is to go through and look at all of those all-time records, all-time for all events type record, which is something that's even harder, because if you think we have, well, I'm not going to tell you how many people we have in Hot Rod Drag Week history, but because that's going to be a game we're going to put out tomorrow. But there's a lot of people that have driven a week-long drag and drive over the years. And so a lot of times, it's crazy. Somebody may have been really fast, but man, maybe that year was a year they didn't publish the cars that people raced in some events. So, it's wild all the time. So anyways, congratulations to all the new records. I will be talking about Scott Glassbrook and doing all that and all of the other records that come along with that. The hardest part is, like, we had a great question the other day on the Drag Week Facebook group, Drag Weekers Facebook group, that's asking, what's the quickest, like, Gen 1, traditional small block, be it small block Ford or small block Chevrolet. Man, like, you have no idea how hard that is to figure out, because then you have to go in and, oh man, I have to remember that so-and-so had a Gen 1 small block in their setup from 12 years ago. Well, now I don't have that data. If I didn't know them, I didn't have that. I got you. Ralph saying we were coming for that one next year. Yeah, bring it on, man. That'll be fun. All right. Well, cool. That's great time looking at all those records. My eyes were crossed for a little bit of today from the spreadsheets. Thanks again to Molly and all the support they give us. You do that, and the world record points stuff, or world champion points stuff, it becomes pretty crazy. Yeah.
He said you got to give all the results to Chat GPT and let it do the work for you.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times to help me find interesting stories and things like that. The struggle truly is we don't have the data. We truly don't have the data of what somebody drove, so it's hard to say the quickest Ford of all time if you don't know what somebody drove in an event back then. So it's just really, it's got to go through a lot of that kind of stuff. So there's JWire Solutions right there. Mr. Jay Blanchard himself in here. All right, well, I'll let you run through this, and then we'll bring Jesse Adams on of Redwood Rally.
All right. Again, appreciate everybody in here making comments. Again, you guys are our race car friends. We can't do this without you guys. So thank you for supporting us. We appreciate that. Voice is killing me tonight. Appreciate you guys supporting us and everything that you guys do. It's what keeps us going. Again, posting photos, like I said, just finished day one, seeing everybody tag each other. That's the kind of stuff that really keeps me going to keep editing more photos when I'm beyond exhausted. And then our sponsors, obviously we cannot do all of this traveling and all this stuff without them. So again, if you guys are buying parts, please check out these companies. Again, we've got affiliate links, we've got discount codes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us. But thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, JWire Solutions, who was just in here, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmission, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk.